Hi, I'm Caleb Giddings from Gun Nuts Media. Today's video is going to be 5 facts about the 1911. As you know, or as you may not know, I have been testing 1911 pistols on this channel for about a year now. That's all I've been shooting. I've shot some other guns for work and for industry events and stuff like that, but my focus has been the 1911 pattern pistol. And a lot of that focus has gone into 9mm 1911s because I think it's a very interesting platform. It offers advantages over 45 ACP in that you get more rounds in the gun, it's easier to shoot, and generally speaking, 9mm 1911s are very, very nice to shoot. But this also isn't my first go-around with the 1911. Backtrack about 4 years, and I shot nothing but a Sig 1911 TAC Ops in 45 ACP for about 6 months, and that was a great gun. I shot a Colt railgun until it had 2,500 rounds on it, and it was a great gun. It had some problems, but it was a great gun. I shot a Colt CCG, which they don't make anymore, but was the basis for the new Colt competition pistol that's out. I shot one of those for over 10,000 rounds in 45 ACP. So I have a considerable amount of time behind the triggers of 45 AC, of 1911s. I actually went back and did a round count on the number of rounds I've shot through 1911s since 2011, and it's over 35,000 rounds. That's not a lot compared to what some of my friends who are seriously into USPSA shoot, but it has given me a good feel for how the gun acts. I've shot 1911s in classes, I've shot 1911s in matches, and I've even taken a very, very good armorer's level course on the 1911 from Hilton Yam and Tim Lau of 10A Performance. And that class taught me what to do to the inside bits of the 1911 to make it happy. So again, I'm not trying to claim I'm the expert in 1911s here, but I want to lay out my experience so that people understand that where this is coming from. In the past year alone, I've probably shot 20,000 rounds just through 1911 pistols, and that's a decent amount of shooting. So what I want to talk about today is 5 things that I have learned, 5 facts about 1911s that you may or may not disagree with. And the first one is 1911s, fact number 1, 1911s are not as complicated as people think. There is this belief, online especially, that to keep a 1911 running, you have to be a mechanical genius or a wizard or something like that. But that's not true. I am not a mechanical genius, and I'm certainly not a wizard. Maybe, on that last one. I'm still trying. But I don't have a high level of mechanical acumen. I can't take the engine out of a car and fix it, for example. I can change my own oil. And by being able to change my own oil or be able to change a taillight, I have all of the mechanical acumen necessary to perform most tasks on a 1911. The area of a 1911 that is most likely to cause issues with your gun running is the extractor. Tensioning an extractor is not hard. It is a little bit witch doctory when you're getting into how tight the extractor should hold the round, but if you are smart enough to change the oil on your car, you're smart enough to tension a 1911 extractor. With that in mind, people, for whatever reason though, people seem to think that if you can't detail strip if you can't build a 1911 from scratch, you can't keep it running, and that's not true. The Rock Island 1911, the 9mm gun that has been one of our test guns, has over 3,500 rounds on it. And you know what I've done to it? Nothing. I took it apart at 2,000 rounds and I cleaned it and lubricated it. I keep it well lubricated. That's it. It is not required constant tweaking with or dicking around with to get it to work. It's just worked. The same with the Dan Wesson Commander that we're in the process of testing right now. It has just worked. Now, we have had other guns that have not worked. The Springfield 1911 Range Officer was extremely problematic. The Taurus PT 1911 was also extremely problematic. Both of these guns required me to get out the tools and to take them apart and to tension parts or to replace parts in order to get them to run right. And that was unfortunate. And that's what leads me to fact number 2. Fact number 2 is that the term 1911 is completely and totally meaningless. I'll give you an example. This is a 1911. It's a 1911 pattern pistol, but it has a full-length rail, it has ambi safety, it has nice hammer, adjustable sights, and it's in 45 ACP. This will actually be our next test gun when I finish with the Dan Wesson here in the next month or so. But it's a 1911. I also have a 1911 that's chambered in 357 Sig, has an external extractor. I have one with an aluminum frame. The point is that the word 1911 can mean so many things. It can mean anything from a government-sized, all-steel 45 ACP gun with an old-school hammer and crappy little sights to a full-on custom shop Wilson Combat, just dripping in awesomeness gun, and it can mean a crappy Taurus. And that's where the myth of 1911 unreliability comes from, is because you have a lot of these guns that say 1911 on them that are from lowball manufacturers or are shoddy in-house custom jobs or just weird guns. The truth is, and I say this despite my experience with the range officer, if you buy a 1911 from a reputable manufacturer of 1911s, again, we're talking your Colts and your Springfields here. I've had very good experiences with Sig Sauer 1911, so I tend to recommend them. I'm starting to get on board this whole Armscore Rock Island train. My 9mm ran like a beast. If this 45 runs, I'm going to start recommending those as well, especially if you don't want to break the bank, but we're getting there. We're not quite there yet, but we're getting there. But the point is that if you buy a 1911 from a quality, reputable manufacturer, your gun will probably work. I mean, it probably will. It's even more likely to work if it's a 5-inch gun chambered in 45 ACP, because that's how the gun was designed and that's the platform they tend to work the best in. So to revisit, our first one is that 1911s are not these mystical maintenance hogs that you constantly have to work on. Our second myth is, or fact I should say, is that the term 1911 is meaningless, and that's sort of what caused that first one to even come about. The third 1911 fact is that 1911s are generally speaking, oh, you know what, no, I'm not even going to say generally speaking. 1911s are easier to shoot than most other guns. Let me rephrase that. They are easier to shoot well than most other guns. I have never met a person, and I probably will find one in the comments of this video after I post it, who said that he hated the grip angle of the 1911 and hated how the gun feels in his hands. You just don't find those people. 9mm 1911s are especially great to shoot. They're just as heavy as the 45 ACP guns, but have like a third the recoil. They're awesome. I love them. I love 45 1911s too, and I've done a ton of shooting with them, but 1911s, easy to shoot. Pretty awesome. Our fourth 1911 fact is that, how can I phrase this? Our fourth 1911 fact is that people who love the 1911 tend to be a little hidebound in their love for the 1911. I've gotten emails, Facebook comments, YouTube comments, just feedback from people castigating me for focusing my reviews on 9mm 1911s. Well, there's a reason why I'm doing that. It's because I've shot like 15,000 rounds through 45 ACP 1911s. I know what they do. They're great. 9mm 1911s were interesting to me because of the appeal of having more ammo in your gun, the appeal of having less recoil in your gun, and having an even easier to shoot gun. And so far I've been really happy with that, but not so happy that I didn't want to go back to the 45 here pretty soon. So again, pretty excited about this gun. My last 1911 fact, this is the one you guys are going to burn me at the stake for, is if you're looking for a gun for concealed carry, don't get a 1911. And the reason I say not to get a 1911 is because while they may not be the maintenance queens that everybody says they are, while the term 1911 is completely meaningless, while they are easier to shoot, and while the fandom can be a little aggressive at times, they're not the best choice for concealed carry. You know what it is? Gen 4 Glock 19 or Smith & Wesson M&P in 9mm. Those are better choices. They're cheaper, they'll shoot forever, they'll be accurate enough, and they're easy to conceal and hold a lot of bullets. But even with saying that, my sixth and sort of cheater fact about 1911s is that I love them. They're great. I feel connected to 1911s like I don't feel towards plastic guns. And because I have the time and the financial ability and the emotional desire to spend time with the platform, to work around the challenges it has for concealed carry, to work around the maintenance challenge, because there are some maintenance challenges sometimes with these guns, to work around the limited ammunition capacity, because I want to do all of that, I can carry a gun that I understand is a compromise. I carry this gun that I know isn't actually the best choice for concealed carry, but I carry it because I love it, because I'm more likely to take it out to the range and shoot it, and because I'm more likely to put in real training trigger time with it. If you have any questions about 1911s, if you want to know what 1911 I recommend for concealed carry, what I recommend for competition, what parts and modifications that I recommend for 1911s, feel free to leave a comment down below. I'm Caleb Giddings. Thanks for watching.